Guys, Matt Haycox here, and welcome to another weekly roundup. We haven't done a weekly roundup for a while. Whenever I used to do these consistently, and you guys always told me it was a favourite piece of content. You know, I just talk about what I've been up to during the week, the good, the bad, the ugly, never any holes barred, and I've been getting inconsistent. I've been missing it, but now and again it comes back. But I've got a full-time guy on the crew, hiding behind the camera, Mr. Farouk, all the way from Morocco to Dubai, so he's given me the incentive to get on with this more regularly. I've also got Jamie Barr with me today. You may have seen Jamie on his recent podcast, well, his newly launched podcast that I did with him, the first one. And I just thought maybe I'll do some of these on my own for weeks. I'll do some with people, and Jamie and I had some good rapport when we did the podcast. He runs his own business here in Dubai and in the UK, so that we can both talk about what we've been up to and see how it all plays out. So thanks for joining me, Jamie, en route to the Atlantis.
Thanks for having me.
We better still be going to the Atlantis. Don't let last night's drinking get in the way.
Exactly. I didn't even have much to drink last night because I was so excited for that Atlantis water park. Very excited to see you drop on the vertical machine, make a big splash at the bottom.
That is what I'm definitely not doing. So, I mean, lots been going on in my week. I mean, look, we haven't kind of prepped each other for this, so we'll, I guess, go with the flow. I've got my Dubai office pretty much fully functioning now. I think we've got 12 or 13 staff in there, and I think one thing I've found very much over the last 6 or 9 months of doing business in Dubai, that whilst on the one hand the business climate is fantastic, there's so much opportunity, so much money, people really want to do business. I do find getting corporations set up here a total ball ache, and I also think it's a big fallacy. People think hiring staff in Dubai is super cheap. If you're a US company, if you're a UK company, people think of offshoring to Dubai and getting everything very cheap. I think at the very bottom end of the market, yes, if you're a building company and you're bringing in builders from India or something, then you can hire them for bottoms. But other than that, highly qualified, highly competent staff in Dubai are materially more expensive than the UK, and also the rights, for want of a better word, that they get, with holiday allowances, flights, the cost of doing the visa, the cost of this, that, and the other, is all very expensive and quite a ball ache, quite time consuming. So we've been finding our feet with that. I mean, you've been doing it longer than me over here. Would you agree with what I say? 100%.
I think people forget straight away you've got the visa cost. You then get the issue with the visa cost that you've got to commit to that up front. We all know with people, they come in, they look like they're going to be the dog's bollocks, and they come in and they deliver on the job. You've already paid their visa expense. We had this not even a month ago. She paid the visa expense, then you want to get rid of them, you're paying again to cancel the visa. So instantly you've got that issue. Like you said there, we seem to have a lot of public holidays. And it's not like the UK where you go, every year there's the same 8 public holidays. Here they just seem to pop up. And then, as you said, the holiday allowances, it is an expensive process, and I think, like I've said to you before, I made a lot of mistakes in terms of incorporating the company where I did it.
Because in terms of incorporation, I guess what people who've never done anything to Dubai really don't understand is, well, there's onshore and offshore, but then it's not just kind of onshore and offshore. There's all kinds of subsets and variants of that. I mean, you can basically register a company in any one of the Emirates, can't you? And some are onshore, some are offshore. I don't know what the benefits and disadvantages are enough to talk about here. But
and then the big challenge you find is when you decide you want to move office location. So, for example, at the minute we're looking in JLT. The reasons we're looking in JLT is the office space there is at a lower cost per square foot than the likes of Internet City. But to then go to GLT, you've got to take out a DMCC license. That again means paying the cost of cancelling your old licenses, taking out the new ones, new visas. So I think for people not in Dubai that are looking to open here, fantastic opportunities, but it's a headache.
What have you found that the biggest advantages of being out here have been in the kind of 3 or 4 years that you've been here now? We obviously talk about the negative cost implications and some of the, let's say, procedural ball aches, but you're obviously still here, you're doing it for a reason. I mean, what have been the benefits of being in Dubai?
So in terms of, I think, what a lot of people don't understand about our business, we are based in Dubai, but a large proportion of our income is still coming from the UK, Europe, the US. The main reason why we're in Dubai is the team. So number one, there is a much wider pool of talent here. right from the entry-level roles to the more executive roles, I believe it's easier to recruit here than the UK. Secondly, in terms of my work ethos is, I'm not a big believer in remote teams, working from home. I don't like it. Call me old-fashioned, but it's not for me. Here, people seem to very much accept you're in an office role, you work in the office, these are your hours. In the UK, when we were recruiting there, everyone's first question, is this a hybrid job? Am I working from home? And finally, I think the team that I've built out here, and I'm not saying, trust me, I've made mistakes with recruitment, but the team I've built, I believe by being in Dubai, they have a different mentality. They're hardworking, they want to better their lives. There's a reason why they've come to Dubai. They're not people that want to sit in their home country, keep ticking along.
That's what I always say to everyone about people in Dubai, that I think again, people who aren't here maybe believe the people wanting to do more, earn more at the kind of top of the tree, the multimillionaires and billionaires. But I always say that for me, anyone I've ever come across here, whether it's a personal trainer, a massage therapist, a receptionist, whatever, everybody's here because they do want to do more, they do want to work hard, they do want a better life, and the way that rubs off in the office. I mean, look, I've been as outspoken as you are about my distaste for work from home and hybrid roles, etc. And when I came here like 4 years ago, I wasn't initially planning on working here. Then started to realise, well, if I'm going to be here long term, I better get some kind of office, do something with the staff. And then I started to re-recruit everybody from the UK over here, because I thought, it's hard enough for me to manage them if I'm stood in the office with them. I certainly can't manage them from 3,000 miles away. So if I'm going to be in an office myself, I may as well have them over here. And we actually just a week ago sold our UK office. Sale went through. There was 3 members of staff left in there who've now moved out. 2 of those will probably, the bookkeepers in one of the businesses. I mean, I'm not going to get rid of them. We've not fired anyone who hasn't deserved to be fired anyway. We've not just got rid of people and said, look, you're not coming to Dubai, so you're going. So we've kept everyone on as long as we can. Bookkeepers in England, to me, tend to be quite a revolving doors type role. So I would imagine that they probably won't last forever. And when they don't, or when they do leave, I'll replace them over here. Steph, who she's about to make the move out to Dubai, and that will be pretty much full closure on the UK for me. And like you say, it's just a completely different mentality over here. I mean, we haven't had loads and loads of team get-togethers, but we've had occasional nights out, occasional lunches when there's been 10 of them, 12, 15, and they've just always been now, whether it's because the mentality is different here, or whether it's because I've been there to control problems from the outside, that has been my biggest issue in England, that I've never been there. So
we're going to jump into some of the England staff parties here. But that's a whole different story.
But the problem when anything happens in England, it's fully fueled by booze. I mean, every Christmas party I've been to, every barbecue, every get together, everyone gets utterly arseholed. There's a fight, there's a debate, there's confidential information that starts getting passed around, and what starts off as what's supposed to be 3 hours or 4 hours of team bonding takes 4 weeks to bloody deal with the after effects of people who've offended each other, people who've said stuff that they shouldn't have said. The people we employ, maybe I'm making a sweeping generalisation about Dubai versus England, because there's still plenty of people here who want to get pissed every day. But I guess the difference is, like I said, I'm here to manage it, and what we've been hiring a lot of people here. I always say, we're quick to hire, but we just need to be quicker to fire, and that's what we've been good at here. I'm not saying that our recruitment has been great by any stretch. We've taken on a few monsters along the way over here, but what we've done now, having learned from my mistakes, is identify it so early on and not give them any, let's say, room for manoeuvre. If someone's been the wrong person, we've just bitten the bullet and fired them there and then. Whereas what we've done in the UK is just not do that. Either that's because I've not been there, or because we've just been, let's say, too generous and given them a second chance, third chance, fourth chance. By which time, the cancer starts to rot, and that's what we had in the UK. We just had a totally rotten cultural organisation.
I think from a similar point of view, it's something I've really been working on over the past couple of months, is that, again, we've brought a couple of people in who haven't been good fits, lovely people, but just haven't been up to the job. Now,
technically, nice people, but technically not competent.
Lovely people, hard workers, but just the skill level they said they had the skill level they displayed at interview, the skill level they displayed at test was not what they had when they came to the role. Now, obviously, like you said, we've got to fire fast on that. At the same time, I also had to look in the mirror and think, this is my fault as well. At the end of the day, I hired them, I didn't identify it, and did I really equip them early enough with the skills? So recently, I've completely changed my onboarding process to make the onboarding process really intensive. A lot of time's given to it now. We do a whole day with them, which is like an induction day, which I spend more as an entire morning just talking about company culture, drilling that into them.
Just one-on-one with that person?
We usually try and start a few at the same time, so it's like a full presentation day. So say they're coming in as a SEO executive. The morning would be team building and me talking about the company culture, drilling that home to them. Then the afternoon would be on the more technical stuff. But now, particularly in that first week, we're putting so much training and focus into them, which I believe then gives them a better chance to excel in the role. But on the other side, it's frustrating if you do all that and they're not the right fit.
But I guess the more you're doing that, the more like during that morning of cultural fit, you probably notice more when that happens if they're going to be the right person or not as well. I mean, I always look at the times where I've spent time with people that's in business but out of the business. Whether that's going to a lunch with them, looking at their social media, all of the things that aren't doing the actual work, and they're the ones that give the big red flags. I mean, there's been so many times over the years where someone's just been a total fucking psycho. We've had to get rid of them, and then after the fact, we've looked at their Facebook or their Instagram and seen the kind of posts and stuff they do. And think, fucking hell, I wish I'd seen this a year ago because I would know. Like someone posting. Yeah, you know what it's like when someone posts all the attention-seeking shit, or like airing the dirty laundry in public. What's going on with the friends, what's going on with the family, all the political views. Those people, 99 times out of 100, are fucking unemployable psychos.
100%. I mean, going back to a point you made before about the English environment being out here, in the UK, your workforce is predominantly, if you're in a business in the UK, in our kind of sector, it's mainly English staff. In our business now, we have such a variety of nationalities, ranging from Europeans to South Africans to Arabic, a real range of people, and that poses both challenges but also positives. And I think it's a great environment to have those different, there's different personalities, the different cultures. Take the little bit of strengths from each. Obviously, at times there's some negatives. Different countries maybe have different drawbacks. But that kind of mixing pot where you get the best of everyone, but also the fact that there are Muslims and non-Muslims within the workforce, so it doesn't become that booze culture of finishing work on a Friday and everyone's just getting straight to the pub. You've got to be more creative with your team outings. We did a great one last week. We went bowling, Brass Monkey.
Yeah.
So we went there, we did the bowling, we played on the arcade game. Brilliant night of team building. If I'd done that in England, no one would have cared about the bowling or the games because we'd have been at the bar.
Yeah.
But with that one, with there being Muslims and non-Muslims, the non-Muslims are more reserved. They're probably not wanting to drink as much in front of other people. So what could have been a disaster is actually a really good night out.
I'll tell you what we've implemented. We're just in the process of implementing, and we've not needed to hire anyone new since I decided we were doing this last week. But we've been interviewing some psychometric testing companies over the last week or so.
I saw that when you did a post on that, didn't you?
Did I?
With the IQ tests and everything like that, was it? The personality types?
Yeah, but I don't remember doing a post. But yeah, so found a couple of test companies. We've whittled it down to the one that we're going to use, because I think we took someone on recently, and my head of sales, he ultimately hired him. Again, I signed off on him, so I'm not passing the blame there. I did the interviews, and as soon as the guy started, to me, it felt a bit weird. And then he ends up leaving, but leaving in a bad way. He waited for payday, then never came in on the Monday, sent us a load of text messages about things he's found out about our business that he's not happy with. So we said, okay, no problem, come and talk to us about it. At the end of the day, we're reasonably public online, so there's always going to be some negative comments somewhere. Come and talk to me about them, and I'm sure I can put your mind at rest. And if I can't, then fine. You're more than welcome to make your own decisions and leave. But how can I deal with you if you won't talk to me? Like, you texted me, you won't pick up the phone. You texted me, you won't come to the office. So what can you do? And that was that was kind of the final straw for me. And our sales manager, he took it, I'm not going to say he took it personally, but he's going to keep looking at what could I have done differently. I said, I don't think there's anything you could have done differently. We do all the different bits now, but we need to do more bits as well. And so I went out looking for the psychometric testing, because a lot of people I know, swear by the the personality tests, the personality fits. So I started to look into that, but I found some really good testing companies where they're not just testing for personality, but they're testing for intelligence, they're testing for English language ability, they're also like testing on the role. So take SEO, for example. They've got multiple tests for the different levels of the SEO role. So you can put your own assessment together for all potential recruits, because these will be people where you'd look at the CV, you think the CV's right, I'm going to interview them, but you do this before stage one interview, and you can send them a test by email of a personality fit, a general intelligence fit, 2, 4, 6, 8, what comes next, and then a specific set of 25 questions relevant to that role. So, a junior SEO set of questions will be obviously easier than senior SEO set, because again, how many people can just blag their way through until they get in? Oh. And I'm not saying that this testing is going to be the be all and end all of everything, but it will be another tick in the box, another chance to exclude people before problems come in. So I'm looking forward to it going anyway.
Yeah, because we've found this in roles recently, obviously. We recruit a lot of SEO staff. You get them to go out and do these audits or these tasks, and it's pointless to some extent. The ones that come back with the best presentations are often the least talented to it. And
I'm being cynical, you don't actually know they even did that, do you?
I don't even know that. And for me, there's two key factors at the minute, which are, number one, have they got a personality I like? If they're a good person, if I believe they're decent, honest and hardworking, I think I can get the best out of them. And the second one I'm looking for now is intelligence. Do I believe they're intelligent? If they've got the right personality fit and the right level of intelligence, we can brush up on any skills they're missing. But if you've got someone with a bad attitude and not that many brains in their head, it doesn't matter how much they're doing the job. And something I want to try bringing in, be a shout out to my mum this one, but years ago in business, and it's like you say, look at the social media, maybe times have changed. But when my mum was recruiting for large organisations, she always insisted on taking the person out for lunch as part of the interview.
Yeah, no, a minute ago when I was just saying it's always been the times out of work, I've noticed. And I think, there's been a couple of people lately who have hired where, I got one of them came around the house for a coffee and a chat, I took another one downstairs for a bit of lunch, Elaine and the baby came for lunch. We weren't talking about any work, we're just having a kebab and a chit chat, and you just get to see that completely different interaction side of it, don't you?
Yeah, you can see, can someone hold a conversation? Because we both join. You're a great communicator. I like to think I'm all right at communication. But if you can communicate, whether that be in a job role, whether it be leadership, that is one of the main skills. You can be the best person on earth, but if you can't communicate with your team, you can't do that. So you see whether they can communicate, little things with how do they turn up, do they present themselves well? Because it's a big thing how you present yourself, you dress well, even you clean, showered, etc. I think you're 100% right. And across the board, I put my hands up. We need to improve our recruitment, and some of the ways that traditionally people have taught us to do it isn't right. We all need to start thinking outside the box.
Well, I think there's a nice segue here into what you've been up to this week as well, because I think I already told you, I've certainly posted about it a couple of weeks ago when I was in Finland on a little Ty Lopez get together. We were all sat in the room talking about what's our issues, what's our challenges, and I spoke about my permanent quest to be able to recruit better. One of the things Ty recommended was running Facebook ads and Instagram ads for for certain positions, not just any position, but break them down on a position by position basis, which is something I'm about to try. It's not so much this as revolutionary, but I think it just gives you a whole new pond to fish in, because everyone's doing LinkedIn, everyone's doing Indeed. But then what that kind of leads on to is the whole personal brand side of things, that one of the benefits of having a strong online presence, as an individual or as a company, is that more people know about you. The more people know about you, they want to come and work for you, which obviously therefore makes it a bit easier, in theory, to be able to hire good talent. My segue, it was a long segue, but my segue is that obviously you've just launched your podcast this week, and I think you've always been quite under the radar. Obviously very, let's say, full of personality in your personal life, but not really wanting to be seen online. And I'm interested to know what changed for you to want to do it, because obviously I've always been a massive advocate of social media, of building a brand. I actually had a phone call with a friend of mine back in England this week, because I've got a few issues on, as always. Never a week goes by when someone doesn't want to sue me or have a pop at me. This person was saying, well, you don't make it easy for yourself when you're putting everything out there online. You make yourself a target, or people can see you've got money or think this. Why do you do it? Don't you just want to lay low and be under the radar? Whereas I'm saying to him, for me, the upside is much better than the downside. Listen, someone's always going to want to have a poppy. It is what it is. But for every one negative thing, as long as you're not a total bellend, there should be 100 positives for every one negative. And having that presence is what helps me get leads. Is what helps people think I've got credibility when they don't know who I am, which might be the difference between staff wanting to come and not wanting to come. So I'm, obviously a massive advocate for being public, for being online, for building that brand. Hence why we're creating this content right now. But it's a new thing for you. What changed?
Well, I mean, obviously you've been getting on at me for a few years, encouraging me to do it. But I think I'll be completely transparent with it. I've always been a bit old school in my beliefs that you work hard, you achieve success, you don't rub it in people's face, you keep it under the radar, and that's how you work. It's the way I've always done it. Over the past 3 years, as you know, my company's grown a lot. I think we're 400% up in revenue in 3 years. It's been a massive growth period. We are very lucky in some respects. The work just seems to find us. I guess in our industry, it's very much word of mouth, people referring you, people in the same industry see you do it. But what I also realised is, number one, I'm missing out on opportunities left, right and centre. There's people I meet and they don't really know what I do. And I think, someone will come to me and go, oh, I've just had this done. And I'll look at it and it's a pile of shit. And I'll go, but that's what I do. And I'll go, I paid 35 grand for that. I say, well, it should have been 20. So I felt there was a big audience that maybe didn't know who I was and what I did. Secondly, like you said, when we're doing recruitment, I thought that people need to see who's running this business, because my life is 752. As you probably know, I'm at the point where I would say I'm obsessed with what I do. Growing that business is everything to me. So therefore, I need people to understand that, see that, to want to come and work with me. Yeah. I'm in that office day in, day out. If they don't like me, they're not going to like the job. And I look at other people, in all honesty, I look at other people in my industry who are building personal brands, who are sharing content, and not in an arrogant way, but I think I'm better at it than them. I don't think I've got more to share.
As in, you're better at making the content, or I was going to say, you're better at doing the business, but they're getting more business because they've got the brand and you haven't.
Yeah, but I think there's people out there who are selling a good story online who aren't
actually delivering.
Yeah. Whereas, as you know, if I say I'm doing something, I deliver on it. That's the bottom line. And as well as delivering, I think with some of the content people are delivering, I look at it and think there's a better way to do that. There's better messaging, there's better this. So I guess, it's, as you've sort of brought home to me many times, it's put yourself in the shop window, get that exposure, get the leads in. So it's early days, but I've enjoyed it.
But what's the feedback been like? I mean, let's put it into some real context. Some numbers for people listening. I mean, I think everybody who doesn't do podcasts, who doesn't create content, also thinks that everything has to be in the millions, and whereas, I mean, I've had podcasts of mine from the early days. I mean, for the first 2 or 3 years of making content, nobody watched anything, nobody looked at a thing, but it was all still there online, so it all still served that purpose. But I mean, in terms of your first episode, you're still on the first episode now, yeah? First episode
with yourself, the very first guest last Tuesday. This Tuesday is the second episode with Gary Allen, who's the founder of Strada, leading real estate agents here. We're releasing every Tuesday. And from that first episode, I mean, have you had an inquiry yet, or have you had anything that's, let's say, an immediately tangible benefit of what you've done? In terms of immediately tangible benefits, it's been in 3 key areas. So viewing figures have been strong. When I say strong, in the grand scheme of the world, very small, but as a start, I've been happy with that. Tangible, there's been a lot of people from the past reach out to me, which I think has maybe been a trigger, on LinkedIn, Instagram, and that people who maybe I've not spoken to in a few years who've messaged me, can we arrange a Zoom call, can we do this? So straight away, I'm in their mind. With my work, my team absolutely love it. They're sharing it, they're watching it at home with their partners. It's got them excited about the business. In terms of, like I think I mentioned to you yesterday, I think one of the key things I want to do with this podcast was people start out and there's this idea of, you start doing it at home or you've got your phone out, you've got the cameras, people start at quite low level. I wanted to produce at a high level, which I think for people who've seen your episode, we look fantastic in that lighting.
They've got great lighting in that venue, haven't they?
Yeah, so a lot of people have commented on the quality of the production. Now we're in a digital agency. I've got most of those resources at my fingertips. I've got the designers, I've got the video editors, I've got the ads people. So it's been a great opportunity to showcase their work. And the inquiries I've strangely had have been people asking me if we can get involved in doing their podcasts, which we've never done before, but might just pop up as a side angle to the business here.
New string to the bow.
You know me, I never turned down the opportunity to make some more money.
What else has been going on this week? Anything else that is worth talking about? Anything interesting? Any problems?
Any big problems in work this week? For us, it's been quite a. I don't think there's been any big issues. I think we've had new starters, but they're settling in really well. So again, it's just been doing that. We're coming into a summer period, so there is this problem that obviously Dubai is very, very hot right now. So you get everyone wanting to take the holiday at the same time. And that's something we've got to look at more and more because everyone wants the same days off in August. It's not possible.
I do think on that as well, though, I think the whole concept of let's say Dubai summer, because this has been my first summer in Dubai, I think it gets completely oversold as to how catastrophic the effect on work is. I mean, I've always disappeared for 3 or 4 months. Didn't do it this year. It's the first year in like 4 years where I've stayed here. I've gone for a few holidays here and there, but having all the staff in the office, it would be stupid of me to disappear. But people always talked about everyone leaves in the summer, and it's the same with it. In my first year in Dubai, everyone said during Ramadan nothing happens. I mean, you get total bollocks. Yes, okay, the hours in the gym change and maybe the odd restaurant closes, but it's pretty much business as usual. And when you think about it logically, how can the entirety of Dubai disappear for the entirety of the summer? I mean, yes, the people who've come here for let's say tax reasons, the people who don't work, they'll go from here to their French holiday home and from their French holiday home to their Swiss ski villa and everything else, but they're not workers. But the actual working community needs to work.
I think the summer separates the men from the boys in a lot of ways, right? Because you see all these people, and I've been guilty of leaving the summer in the past, but I think over the last year, both of us are in a similar position where we've grown our teams a lot in Dubai. We've grown our physical offices. But in the summer, you see all these people who are talking about these fantastic businesses they've got, the staff they've got here, and they're off for 4 months. They're blaggers. The 2 people in the summer, you either built a highly successful company, like you said, that is running itself, doesn't require as much input for you, and you can go to the south of France on your yacht. You can wherever you want to go in Europe. But these people who are jetting off all summer without any tangible things, if you've got a business that you love, a business that you're passionate about, a business that you want to grow, nobody walks away from that for 4 months because it's a little bit too hot. We're not stuck in the desert with nothing here. There's air-conditioned malls.
Well, I always say it's just like the opposite of England. That in an English winter, you go from your house with your umbrella to your car to somewhere indoor. It's just the same here. But rather in the summer, you're going to an outdoor beach club. You're going to an indoor mall, or you're doing something just to avoid the heat. But the heat's not catastrophic.
Do you not love it though that in your head at the minute, when you're going to work at the minute? I'm working hard in summer. I think the summer is always the period in Dubai where you can grow your business the most. And we went to a restaurant, fantastic restaurant for anyone in Dubai, by the way. I'll give it a plug, called Arifa. Okay. Brilliant restaurant. And the interesting story, you don't mind me going on a segue here, do you?
Go for it.
Very, very interesting story. But the manager there, for anyone who's been to Twiggy in the past, the older gentleman called Adonis, he was a manager of Namos out here. He's been in luxury restaurants forever. Very good operator. And Arifa opened in June. Now you think, why open a restaurant in the summer in Dubai? He said to me, their group they open every one of their restaurants in the summer in Dubai, because that way
Test it.
they get everything perfect when it's not operating at full capacity, so that come September you hit the ground running. And I think we all pick little ideas up from everyone, and for me, I see this summer, and I think you're probably the same in some ways, but if you get everything right in the summer, come September when it is full steam ahead, you're hitting the ground running.
Well, talking of things in the summer, it's time for us to get to Atlantis Water Park, I think, isn't it?
It is. That's the way to cool down the heat, isn't it?
Yeah. But look, thanks for coming.
Oh,
Thanks for being
thanks for having
here.
me. I really
we
appreciate
should
it.
do some more of these. Like I said, I'm going to get back into doing it every week, and it's good to pounce with other business owners about what they've been up to. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the fact we're back with a weekly roundup. If you're listening to this or you're watching it, this is on what is now our No Bollocks podcast. So if you're used to stripping off with Matt Haycox, that is the new name for what used to be the Matt Haycox show. We've now split the podcast into two. Stripping off with Matt Haycox, we just do deep dives with great guests. I mean, we've had Ant Middleton, we've had Fergie, Duchess of York, we've had Katie Price, we've had all kinds of CEOs and celebrities where we do a good hour and a half chat once a week. But I did a lot of content where it could be like this, talking about business, it could be 5-minute chit chats, me in the back of a taxi giving a piece of advice, and it didn't really fit to put those on the same channel as Stripping Off. So we've got the second podcast, which is No Bollocks. We have a newsletter which is called No Bollocks, and that's because we don't talk any bollocks, we just tell the truth about the hard world of business. So if you listen to one, now start listening to the other. Make sure you like, subscribe. As always, drop me any comments. If you like what we're talking about, tell me that you want more of it. If you don't like it, tell me what you want me to talk about. And if you've got any business problems that you want answering in a future episode, drop them in the DMs or drop them in the comments below. And until next week, thanks for listening and thanks for watching. And Jamie, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Matt.